Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So my name is Beth and I make knit and sewing content here and on Instagram. So if you're interested, obviously have a look over there. But yeah, today is just the start of essentially another vlog. I wish I could say that these were weekly, but they're honestly just as and when. So I've literally today just finished filming the last one and making the bits that are in that, so the red cardigan and the black jeans. So basically I have ordered some drops yarn because they're currently having a sale. I don't know if that will still be the case when this video goes up, probably not, but I've ordered some flora and some, what else did I get? Drops Nord, I think, which is a sock yarn, but I'm going to use it for a cardigan. And I have also got some yarn on the way from a company that reached out to me about sending me some free yarn. So I'm kind of in limbo between, I've just finished 2 projects and I don't want to really cast on anything until the new yarn comes. But I do have a couple of WIPs that have been sat on my needles for like literally forever. So I'm kind of debating which one to go with. So the first one, which actually has been on my needles for a shorter amount of time, is this. So I have definitely shown this before. This is knit in the Drops Daisy and Drops Kid Silk Mohair. So it's literally just like a 2x2 ribbed raglan going to be turtleneck jumper basically. But I started knitting on this literally when they released Drops Daisy last summer. I bought this and started making it, and the pattern was a nightmare to figure out because this is completely self-drafted. Like most of my patterns are self-drafted. Trying to figure out where to get the increase points, but yeah, literally I've done a bit of length on the body. I think I went until the ball of yarn ran out, and then I'm gonna do the sleeves so that I definitely have enough yarn to have full length sleeves, and then basically see how far the body can go. But yeah, so this is one option. Obviously this is quite like it's not really what you want to be knitting this time of year. I won't be able to wear it until the winter. But the other thing is, kind of irritates me against the skin, only because it is so tight fitted. I guess I'll show you actually. So yeah, this is basically where I'm at with it currently. Obviously I've started on this sleeve. This literally has no shaping. Like, if I can remember correctly, no back neck shaping. I might be wrong. No German short rows, no German short rows. Here it's literally all just mindless 2x2 knit, and I feel like I could probably work the rest of this up pretty quickly because the yoke here are the rows that take the longest across the whole jumper. But obviously I can't wear this anytime soon. To be fair, I said it was bad against the skin. I'd probably be fine with, like, I've got a top on underneath this now, especially when it gets really cold, like a proper long sleeve. I guess it's like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know whether to knit on this or I will not be doing this right now. But if I decide not to knit on this, I really need to reconsider this design in this yarn. Or actually no, the Drops Daisy is fine, it's the mohair that's given me issues. But anyway, I will show you the next one. So this next one has been on the needles for a significantly longer amount of time. Sorry if the camera's a bit shaky, you're on the bed. So this is in Drops Flora, which is so ridiculous that I've ordered more Drops Flora without using this, but it's a different colour, right? And it's in sale, so I thought, you know, you got to. But this I started knitting not the Christmas just gone, but the Christmas before. So what, 2022 I started knitting this. So again, it's a raglan, and you can't even see what this is, which is the whole point that I want to unravel it. This took me so long, so I don't actually know if you can see. It's basically a raglan cable knit, like all over cables. It's got this moss stitch at the front, it's got a little cable, a thicker cable, another little cable, and then I think that's as far as I got. And it's the same down the sleeves, just obviously a smaller version. I guess I can show you this one as well, apart from that the yarn has got a bit tangled. So this is currently where I got to. I'm not even joking, this took me so long, and this I started making like pretty early on to when I started like seriously knitting. But yeah, I guess you can maybe see this a bit better now, but it's just not the one. I'm going to take this off and then continue talking about it. Apart from the fact that you can't see the cables because it's in dark grey, because I did not realise that when I started knitting it, it's also kind of see-through. I think you can probably see that. I obviously am stretching it apart a bit, but like here I'm not. So I was using one strand of Drops Flora, and then this. So this I got given to me from uni. So because I was one of the only people in my year that did knitwear, my course taught pattern cutting and sewing. If you wanted to do knitwear, etc., that was like on you kind of thing. But I obviously started machine knitting, and so uni basically gave me all of their big cones of yarn because no one had used them in years, no one was using them in the class. Like I think a couple of other people got some, but things like this. So this is basically, I don't know if you can see this, a really tiny little fine boucle. I don't know what the fibre is, it doesn't say at all, but obviously I've got loads of this. I was essentially trying to use this instead of a mohair, but partially I think that's why it's really hard to see, because there's really not that much stitch definition. Like even looking at it now, I can see some stitches where the flora's coming through more, and you can kind of see, I guess, like the knit, like the V's a bit better. But yeah, this is not the one. So basically what I want to do is unravel this, which I've put this off for so long because it took me so long, and I feel like it's going to be a massive ball ache to separate out the boucle. But I still have this much Drops Flora in balls. I really think, oh, and this one, I think I only maybe used 1 or 2 balls. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 more balls of the Flora. I just want to make a plain stockinette jumper with the boucle in it still, because I feel like if it's stockinette, it doesn't matter if there's stitch definition, because it's just all like one flat continuous stitch. I think I'm almost leaning towards that one, but I don't know, because that one, like this one, I can just continue. This one, it's like starting a whole new thing. But yeah, I am sad to see this go, but it's too thin for what it is, especially like in between the cables. Obviously your purl stitches next to cables always sort of wider anyway, because of the tension difference and the way that the yarn comes through. But even, yeah, no, it's just not the one. Even here, this is just stockinette this bit, not that you can probably tell. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop being salty about this. So yeah, I'm gonna figure out what to do with these, and then obviously when my other yarn comes, I'm really excited to get started on them, which is why I'm like, do I just stick to this? But yeah, I'll let you know anyway. I have been chatting for far too long, but yeah, welcome to another vlog of things. Also got more sewing to do at some point. This is actually, so it's Sunday today. This week on Friday is my last day at my current job, where I have to stay in hotels and all sorts every single week. So yeah, what I'm thinking is that I will not have the yarn before I stay away this week, and I want the yarn for the hotels, so that's why I need to start a new project, so because I need something to take with me, and I also have to get the train back from work on Friday when I finish. So yeah, you don't need to know that, this is just rambling now. Yeah, I will catch up with you in a bit. So it's the next day in the evening after work, and I decided to keep knitting on this jumper because I realised that I can't take the big cone of the grey with me while I'm travelling around and stuff. So yeah, this is how far I've knit today. I'm gonna keep going, but it is sort of going out a bit at the end, I think partially because of where the needles are, but I'm not too worried because I'm gonna block this out anyway. Obviously where this is all rib, it is currently like cinching in a bit and it's quite fitted, whereas I think when I block it, it actually shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, and actually as well, like wearing this now with more of it done, I feel like it actually doesn't irritate me that bad. So yeah, just literally gonna keep going on this sleeve until it's long enough, and then this one, and then the body. I'm kind of pretty much exactly at my elbow right now. I think this had, I want to say I'd done about 25 rows of it before, and now I'm on about row 60, so I've kind of doubled it in length, if not a little bit more. I think I've done about this much today. I've only been, well, I knit on it on my lunch break and then also this evening for a little bit. So yeah, making good progress. I'm just hoping to get the sleeve done as soon as possible, probably tomorrow, because then I can just knit mindlessly on the other one. The thing that I don't want to run into is that I don't want to be having to try this on like on my lunch break or like while I'm traveling on the train or something, and like yeah, having to try it on is just kind of annoying. So at least I know if I have one done at a length that I like it, then I can just literally knit on the other one until it's even. But yeah, actually really happy with this so far. The like neckline is kind of like a turtleneck, but there's no like separation. I just literally continued straight down into the body, but I'm kind of thinking obviously once I block this, it may potentially kind of sit lower down. So yeah, we can just imagine it for now, and then obviously after I eventually block it. But yeah, I actually love the colour as well. This is the Drops Daisy. I think the colour's Cobalt, whatever the brightest blue is. But yeah, I'm literally about to lose the light, so hopefully I'll check back in once the sleeve is done, and hopefully my Wool Warehouse order will be here tomorrow and at some point this week from the other company, which I guess I won't say until it gets here. But yeah, I'm really excited for both of them. But now I've been knitting on this, I'm like, I probably will just finish this before I start on another project. Yeah, but I'll check back in with you again at some point with probably some more sewing bits as well. So I thought I could just show you really quick because these literally got delivered today. So my Drops order came in from Wool Warehouse in their sale. So I got some Drops Nord. This is it's in colour 4. I think it's like the middle grey basically. I don't know how well this is going to come up on camera. And then also Drops Flora and Drops Kid Silk Mohair. Again, I'm not sure what the colour name is. This is colour 11. This one is colour 24. I feel like this maybe isn't coming up true to colour on camera, but this I want to make a cable knit cardigan in, and then this one I think I want to make just a plain cardigan in. But I would like to do like a summer knitting plans, and I'll go more into detail of like what I actually do with these. But yeah, I'm actually really excited now that they're here. Like, seeing the colours in person, I was concerned that this wasn't gonna be what I wanted, but it's actually really cute. So yeah, also just been knitting more on my Drops Daisy jumper. I managed to finish a whole sleeve last night, so I'm hoping to get through the second sleeve as much as possible. I think I said maybe in the last clip I wanted to get through the sleeve so that I could like mindlessly knit on the other one and know when to stop and not have to try it on at work. So yeah, today's my last day at home this week, and then it's hotels, so I'm sure I will update you with that at some point. So I actually wasn't gonna update because the sound and like the light and everything in these hotel rooms are just like not great, but I am so excited by this. So I've obviously finished both sleeves. They are coming up like a little short, but obviously because I think this is going to grow a bit when I wash it and block it, so I don't want to make the mistake that I have made before where I've knit the sleeves to the length that I want, where they sit kind of like over my wrist like this, and then they're just like excessively too long after you wash it. But I'm now having dilemmas because I don't know whether to like keep this cropped or to keep knitting on it basically. So yeah, I don't know, because basically obviously this front bit is kind of, how do I say this, like stretched to where it should be after it's blocked, because obviously like the girls, they stretch it out a little bit, but I am anticipating that it's still probably a bit cinched in at the back. So I don't know how much bigger this is gonna get, because if this gets really big and baggy and oversized, sorry, this filming is shocking, if this gets really big and baggy and oversized, then I want it longer. But if it's gonna stay roughly this size, then do I just keep it like this? I don't know. What I do know is that I massively overbought on yarn. I bought this last year. I think I said before, this is Drops Daisy with Drops Kid Silk mohair. I think I've used 6 or 7 balls. Well, okay, I have currently this much left of what I'm on at the minute. I think I've used about 6 or 7 balls of the Daisy. I bought 12, which is so over. And then I think this is the 4th ball of mohair, and I think I bought 6. So I don't know whether to keep going, because basically tomorrow I have a long train journey home. It's about 3 hours, and I have about a 40-minute wait in between in St Pancras in London. So I'm like, do I keep going so that I have something to knit on the way home basically? I feel like it's so hard to judge without having blocked this so far. I can't actually remember if sorry, my arm's like aching. I can't actually remember if the original swatch that I did, I actually blocked it, or whether I just like knit it, and just knowing me, I probably just knit it and unraveled it, because I don't like to waste yarn on swatches, which is like ridiculous, because you kind of do need to know like what they're going to turn out like. So yeah, I can't believe how much I've knit on this week. Sorry to keep rambling. So today is Thursday night. I picked this back up on Monday, so the clip would have been earlier in this video. This sleeve was like to here, right? I can't even show you. It was like a tiny little amount on the sleeve, right? And then on the body, I think it was literally here. So I've actually knit basically 2 whole sleeves and all of this on the body in like 4 days. But obviously I work full time, So that's just in my evenings and lunch breaks, so I'm actually so impressed. And this pattern as well, I think I said before, I'm so proud of this because figuring out where the increase points were for the raglan was actually such a ball ache. Obviously I started this pattern like last year, so you know, thanks to past me for figuring this out, because I've just been able to like mindlessly knit on it. Yeah, this was really inspired by her name's What Lydia Makes on Instagram, but her kind of raglan I'm pretty sure is colour work, it's not rib. So where obviously this is knit and pearls, I think on hers it's all knit but it's two colours, so where the pearls are it's like a contrast colour, I think. Anyway, I'm sure you can search up and see, I'll try and link it. But yeah, this was massively inspired by her, and also just like things I found on Pinterest, if I'm being honest. And I did a lot of rib and cables in my collection for uni. And I actually love 2x2 rib. I have started using more 1x1 for like button bands and stuff, but like I love 2x2 rib. I just think it looks so nice and like it's so chunky. I think I've knit this on, well, basically the sizes have rubbed off of my needles. I think this is knit in a 5mm needle because the daisies are DK, and then obviously with the mohair it makes it a bit thicker. But yeah, I'm so conflicted and I don't have anyone to ask until I get home. But the whole thing is like, if I'm gonna knit on it, I want to knit on the train tomorrow, right? So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling. But I'm really proud of myself for this, but it's so hot, so I have to take this off now. Also, excuse my little PJ shorts. Yeah, so I've just been swatching in this beaded rib stitch. This is using the Sunistan Mandarin Petite. I did speak about this in my like summer knitting plans. I don't know how well you'll actually be able to see this because it's in black, but it's really pretty, and I basically want to make a like 2-piece set in this, but I decided to hold it double. This calls for like, this is the actual thickness of it. This calls for like 3mm, but even I swatched in 2.75, so it's even smaller, and it's still, I think, was too gappy for a skin that's going to be like tight to body. So yeah, I'm holding this double and using a 3.75, and it kind of looks gappy, but then when you hold it against things, and I've held it against my skin, you like really can't actually see through. So yeah. So just a few updates. I put a poll on my Instagram story about this guy, about whether to keep it cropped or keep going. So as it is like, it's literally such a nice warm sunny day today, what I decided to do is I have obviously casted it off, not like super tight or anything. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash this and block it today, and hopefully like it won't take too long to dry because obviously the weather's so nice. And then basically see if it grows or not. If it gets bigger, I think I'll knit it longer so it's like oversized. But if it stays quite cinched, then I might leave it cropped. I think cropped one by like 70, it's like 70% cropped, 30% make it longer. So this is basically where we're at. I'm literally obsessed with this colour, but I'm not going to be able to wear this for like at least 6 months. And it's also getting really hot to like work on this because of like the mohair and stuff. But yeah, the Drops Daisy is like, it's lush, it's so soft, but we will see my thoughts after I block it. So yeah, that's where I'm with this one. And then I think I showed in the previous clip, I started swatching for a new summer top design. So if you watched my summer knitting plans, you will have kind of got a brief, I guess, description of what I was thinking for this one. But I have actually started knitting on it. Sorry, I just need to pull some yarn out. So basically, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. I think you can see it actually because I'm in the sunlight. So this is knit up in the Suniscan Mandarin Petite cotton yarn. I am holding it double because it is very, very thin. Single stranded. I think I did like say this earlier, but basically the plan for this, so this section that I'm currently knitting on is going to be like over the shoulders kind of thing. I'm going to make this at least like a couple more rows longer. I kind of want this bit to be like quite thick, and then basically it like the actual top section is going to be to here. So the plan is I'm currently essentially knitting up from the bottom of this fold. Then when I get to how thick I want this, I'm going to cast off some side stitches, keep knitting, cast off the other side, and then essentially join up those middle bits so that what's it called, it makes like a tube top essentially. So like the body bit is just going to be like around here, and then this is going to sit over the top. I hope that makes some sense. Maybe I'll pop in like a reference photo of like a similar top, like not knitted version, but just so you can kind of see what I mean. But this, I think I said what the stitch was. I can't remember what it was called. It's like beaded rib or something. I knew I wanted to make this top in some kind of rib design because I wanted it to like basically fit to the body. I have the girls are quite big, and I sometimes struggle when I make things that fit my bust. It looks really frumpy lower down. So my thought process is if I go for something ribbed, hopefully it will just kind of naturally sit nicer around my body. And I think the thing with a lot of knitted summer tops that I have seen from other designers is that they like just don't really what's the word, they're not really made for boobs basically. They just are not, yeah, they don't have support, or like they're not like bra friendly. Like the thing with this, you will see your bra straps, but like honestly that like doesn't bother me. But yeah, I'm hoping because it's ribbed it will like so, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I am just about to go and wash and block this. I need to get out all of my blocking stuff. I think I'm gonna leave it in the garden because it's so sunny. But yeah, I'm obsessed with this, and I also love the colour like with my hair. I don't know, I feel like it's just so cute. But yeah, let's get blocking. So she is going in. As I spoke about in my recent summer knitting plans, I actually had a yarn company reach out to me to send me some free yarn. So I'm gonna butcher the name. The brand is called Onling. I think that's how you say it. I will obviously link them below. They basically let me pick what yarn I wanted to try, what colours, and I'm basically like making a new design. So I have got this whole basically huge brown bag of yarn. So obviously I did speak about this in that other video, but just in case you missed it, so I chose their number one wool. It's like called Only number one. They are 75% wool and 25% Angora. This is basically in like the white and the charcoal grey. So I think I got 9 of these and 2 of these, I believe. So the plan is I want to make like a big like cardigan basically, and then duplicate stitch with the charcoal over the top some like floral designs and stuff. So that time lapse that you'll have maybe just seen, I've just been basically knitting up a little swatch just in the white colour. The recommended needle size is a 4 to 4.5, so because this is quite, I wouldn't say it's like overly fine. I think this might be a DK. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember what the website says, but it does say a 4 to 4.5 on the balls. So yeah, I'm just knit up this swatch in a 4mm, and I've done 18 stitches because that's what the gauge is on the ball. So this literally knits up so nice. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but this stuff is so soft. Like, I actually can't even explain how nice this is. And this is without a mohair as well, and it already has just like such a nice like slight halo around it, but it's not like itchy at all because there is no mohair. But yeah, this is like, oh, just so beautiful. But I feel like this is going to be pain because I have never knit a full garment in 4mm. I think I've definitely in 5, maybe even in 4.5, but never 4. But I don't think I want to up the needle size because I think this just looks so like nice and uniform. So yeah, so basically I wanted to knit up a bit of a swatch and then test out the duplicate stitch with the charcoal to see if that's going to be the way forward, because if I'm no good at it then we might change the design like a little bit. But yeah, literally so nice. And this is, I basically started knitting on this instead of continuing to knit on this guy, because honestly, like after a while the cotton was just getting a bit rough on my hands because I feel like I'm pulling the yarn really tight as well. Also, this kind of looks gappy, but like when it's against your skin it's not gappy at all, it's fine. But yeah, my hands were hurting, and this is just like literally like so luxurious. But anyway, I'll check back in when I've figured out what I'm doing with the charcoal. So today seems to be a day of swatching, and sorry that my desk is so bad. I've been doing this swatch in 2 strands of the Drops Nord, and I think it's going to work really well for the cables because this has quite good, you can kind of see it standing out. This, I was basically trying to do a seersucker stitch, and I just don't think it's gonna stand out enough. So I think we're gonna start this over with just the cables. Oh, and potentially also with some eyelets, which you can kind of see there. This is what the pattern writing process kind of looks like at the minute. So it's actually way later in the day now, so sorry if like it's getting dimmer, but basically I blocked the blue one, and then I did 2 swatches for the Onling number 1 yarn. So I did a swatch in a 4mm, and then I did a swatch in a 5, because I did the swatch in the 4 and I thought the tension and like the stitch definition and stuff was so nice, but it was way under what the like recommended gauge is for the yarn. So I was like, okay, I'll wash it and I'll block the little swatch and see how much bigger it gets. But it was like, the gauge is meant to be like 4 inches, like 10 centimeters, and my swatch for 18 stitches was at 3 inches. So it was like, it was not just like a little bit short, it was like significantly shorter. Then when I looked on the website, it actually says it's 21 stitches if you use a 4mm, it's 18 if you use a 5mm. Sorry, this is so rambly. So I did, basically, long story short, I did a swatch in a 5 also, so that I could see if either or if both of them grew and what I wanted to go with. Then obviously I was swatching for the cables, and honestly it was just frustrating me figuring it out, or like not so much figuring it out, but because I do know how to do cables. A lot of the work in my final collection, which is on my Instagram if you wanted to see it, is well, it was a lot of like cable work and stuff. But the problem is I don't know, I was just getting frustrated doing swatches essentially. So because I was waiting for the other ones to dry, and like I said, the cotton piece that I'm knitting on was starting to hurt my hands a little bit because I feel like I'm knitting it like at a super tight tension. Basically, I decided to swatch and start on this, which looks like literally nothing right now. So this is the Drops Flora and the Drops Kid Silk Mohair. Again, I showed this off in the spring knitting plans video, but I'm just basically I've started using these really cute little stitch markers. They're just like these little cats. I don't know how well you can see, but honestly they're just kind of annoying me, so I might just swap back to my normal like circle ones. So I'm doing this as a raglan cardigan. So this is literally like this so far. Normally I would start with the neck ribbing, but because of the type of neck ribbing, button band, etc. that I want to do, I basically have just decided to start on the stockinette for the body, and then I'm going to pick up stitches later for the neckline. Yeah, because basically I don't know how well I'm going to be able to explain this. In the red cardigan I made, actually it's right behind me, I can show you. So for this cardigan, this was also a like kind of raglan design. So also like this is a I did do a row of like what's it called, pearl stitches, so it's kind of got like this garter stitch row under the top ribbing. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. So what I did is I started on the ribbing, continued down onto the stockinette for the body, right? And then when I picked up the button band, you can see this comes up to the top here. I feel like this is hard to explain, but you can kind of see what I mean. Whereas for this one, I want to do a big like chunky collar, and I want it to do it folded over rib. And basically I want, if you can imagine, if I don't know how to hold this, if this rib continues along and then this comes to here, so basically I need to knit the body and stockinette, then put this button band on, and then once this bit's on, go back and do the whole neckline ribbing. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense visually in my head, but it is hard to kind of explain. So yeah, it would kind of be similar, well, similar construction to this, but different look, and like I said, different finishes, button bands, neckline, also like massively different fibre. This is acrylic and cotton, and this is, I think the flora is just like a wool. Okay, 65% wool, 35% alpaca, and then this is the Kid Silk Mohair. So this is, that's like the same thing. Oh, 75% mohair, 25% silk. So the other thing as well is I'm thinking this will probably block more. So this is basically what I'm mindlessly knitting on until I can get my, well, the other jumper back, the Drops Daisy one, to see if I need to add length and how much it's going to grow. And then secondly, the swatches for the Onling piece that I can start on. But yeah, I think the next row that I do, I'm going to switch out the stitch markers. I think these kind of stitch markers are good to like very like precisely put on a stitch, but when you're working with them on the needle, I'm 2 rows in. This is 2 rows of knitting and they're already bothering me. But yeah, I did do a little swatch for this, but I did just unravel it because I couldn't bother to wait for another swatch today. I just wanted to, I feel like I've been knitting all day, but on nothing substantial. So it's the next day. Please ignore this. My bedding is in the wash currently. But basically I'll show you. I've been knitting on this. This is the Drops Flora and the Drops Kid Silk Mohair. So basically I was experimenting with starting the raglan in a different way than I normally do. So basically, instead of doing German short row shaping, it's called like a staggered start or something. I'm not entirely sure if that's like the technical term, but basically on this front piece, because this is going to be a cardigan as well, instead of like casting it all on and then doing German short rows like longer and longer, I basically casted onto here, and then every knit row I've been basically casting on an extra stitch. But I don't actually think I like this. I don't really think you're going to be able to see very well what I actually mean, but essentially this I want to be like my red one, like a cardigan that comes up here and buttons down, not like an open v-neck or anything. But this sort of row of increased stitches here, I feel like isn't flush enough with the neckline here. You can kind of see it started to go down as more of a, like, it'll basically have like this tiny little V. Sorry, this is like so hard to like explain what I'm actually talking about. You can kind of see here it's not like a gradual, well it is gradual, but it's not like flush enough for me. Like essentially this would need to be like that. That's what I'm more trying to go for, and I can't tell if it will be okay when I pick up stitches for the neckline or not. And honestly, I don't want to knit a whole jumper for this to, or like, sorry, knit a whole cardigan body for this to then just like not work out. So I think honestly I'm gonna frog this. And the other thing as well, because it's mohair, I don't want to wait to frog it till the end because it's just like so much more effort. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna frog her and just go back to basically trying to do this as German short rows. And also I've been doing this like super thick like raglan band, so this is like 4 stitches for the increase points, and I need to come to a decision whether I want to keep this. I think I will keep it thick because I want it to have a pretty thick button band, collar, like all that good stuff. So I feel like it will kind of run through the theme of like these quite thick details. But yeah, I think this is going to be starting over again. But honestly, I don't even mind. Like, I've just been trying to experiment more with different constructions and things like that. So like frogging again at this stage, it's like it's whatever. It's like I literally started this last night before I went to my boyfriend's house. So yeah, we're gonna start this round 2 and hope that the German short rows just work out a bit of like a nicer shape. So this is going to be a bit of a quick update because it's getting really hot in here and I want to put the fan back on. But I've kind of been working on 2 things. So I guess I'll show you this one first actually. I completely frogged and redid this with German short rows instead of the, I can't remember what I said it was called, like the step increases or something method. And this is way more of like a continuous piece rather than having that little like step bit there. So this is like basically the start. Normally I start my raglan with the ribbing, but I think I already said this one I'm not, because I want the neckline to extend over to the button band. So I think that's why this is throwing me off as well, because obviously normally the ribbing helps it lay flat, but this one does not. But yeah, this is what like the colour looks like as I'm starting to knit it up. I feel like maybe this is coming up a bit duller on the camera, I'm not too sure. But yeah, happy with this so far. I also decided to stick with the 4 increases on the raglan bits, and yeah, much happier with this. But like I said, obviously it's getting quite hot, so like this is getting a bit hot on my hand, but it is softer than this other one, so I'm kind of like switching back and forth. So this is just a bit of an update on the cotton top that I said I was working on. So this is what the, what was it I said this is called? Beaded rib, I think, looks like. So it's not, it doesn't cinch as much as normal rib, but it does definitely cinch and stretch a bit. Also, like, it kind of looks quite see-through when I hold it up, but when it's against the skin, you like can't see anything at all. So I'm gonna try and put this on. Basically, this bit at the minute is the bit that's gonna go over the shoulders, which is why I have put in another needle so that I could try this on. So I wanted to show it at this point because basically I'm about to cast off these bits and cast on stitches in between the front and the back to make the body tube top bit. That might be a bit hard to envision, but obviously I'll like update as I go along. But I wanted to document it here in case I mess it up, basically, and just to kind of show, like, if you can imagine this top underneath is just more rib, then this is kind of what I'm going for. Actually, it probably will sit about here because it's gonna have to sit just under my armpits. But yeah, I'm gonna take this off actually. I really am enjoying this stitch. It's just that sometimes like I feel 100% cotton can be maybe a little bit rough on the hand, especially because this is like knits and purls back and forth. It's a lot of like moving the yarns to the front, and yeah, it's just causing like a lot of friction on my hands, and I think I'm holding this at a really tight gauge. So that's why I keep switching back and forth. And I'm also waiting for my drops jumper and the other swatches to dry. This is the day after, so I did that yesterday. But I'm also considering doing another swatch in the onling in 2 strands, but I feel like I always hold everything 2 strands. Like this is 2 strands, this is 2 strands flora with a mohair, and I'm like, oh, should I just challenge myself to do it in a single strand? And it's not that I don't think I could, it's that I worry that it will be too thin for the look I'm going for. But that's a bit of like a, I guess we'll get to that when we get to that. Also, I feel like I love this colour with my hair at the minute. Like when my hair starts to fade, it kind of goes this like darker colour. Obviously this is like my natural hair. Sorry, this is such a random, you know, segue, but yeah, I feel like this is gonna look really nice when it's all knit up into a cardigan. And this also knits up really quick because this is on 5.5 millimeter needles. Obviously I know with raglans the further you go down the longer it takes per row, but I like literally frogged this and redid it so quick, and I'm so glad I did because the mohair luckily didn't cause me any problems when I was frogging it, because it was only like this little bit. I think I put in a clip of all of the like noodle ramen yarn from when I undid the first one. But you know, I think it's good to experiment, and doing these sorts of things is the only way that you, I guess, learn and make like, I guess, critical decisions on like the things that you're making and like how you want things to fit and look and like the quality and stuff. So happy with this. I think I'm gonna work on this for a little bit because where I've just tried it on, I've been trying to figure out the stitches that I need to cast off and then cast on, if that makes sense. So like the casting off here, and then gonna cast on, join with the back bit, cast off, cast on. yeah, I'll update anyway. I've literally just casted on the underarm stitches and I already know it's too small on this guy, so kind of you can see what I'm doing here. So basically I think I'm gonna need to frog back, make the cast off, essentially have more casted off stitches and more casted on stitches, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to show you this. Like, this is already too tight on my arm and this needs to be basically on the body. I mean, actually, that's upside down. Hang on. So it will be this way around. So yeah, basically it'll be like this. And then the underarm obviously is meant to be attached to the body, and then this is meant to like lay flat, but yeah, this is too small. Yeah, it's too small. I can't be bothered right now to sort this out, so I'm gonna knit on the other thing. And because I already cast it off, I'm gonna have to like unpick the cast off and like pick up the stitches, and that just feels like a lot of effort for me right now, so I'm gonna work on something else. So it's now the next day and I've just taken this jumper off of the blocking mat. So I think I said before, this is in the Drops Daisy and the Drops Kid Silk Mohair. So this has grown like a little bit, mainly like the sleeve length, which is what I wanted because I had knit these like a bit short. I think body wise it has grown a little bit. I think when I knitted it, it was maybe like to here, but I don't think I'm gonna add any length actually. You kind of see at the back. So yeah, the rib has opened like really nicely. You can kind of see it's like more open, more defined. Like you can see the increase points for the raglan really nicely, and like where I picked up stitches under the arms, they kind of continue straight down into the sleeves. So yeah, sorry for that shocking angle, but yeah, so I think we'll probably leave this one now. Obviously I need to weave the ends in, but I have also made progress on the other things. So last night I basically sat down and watched like the whole the whole first half of the new Bridgerton season, and was knitting and managed to knit this much of this cardigan. I think I said obviously I restarted this yesterday. I hadn't gotten very far with it anyway, but this is how she's looking. So obviously got these really, this is a raglan as well obviously, got these really big like increase points. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see. Yeah, sorry, the light's like coming this way, but I don't really have anywhere else to like stand. But I think honestly I might split the sleeves in a sec. And I think what's throwing me off is normally I do the like neckline first, especially if it's like a jumper, but because again I think I've already said the ribbing I want to come up to here and then the collar to come like across, I haven't done that yet. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out if this is enough to do the sleeves. This is the thing with like basically making up all of my own pattern, is that like you don't know if something's gonna necessarily work out. And I didn't do a swatch for this. I didn't like block a swatch or anything, so don't know how much bigger this is gonna get. But yeah, I think this is really similar in gauge to the red cardigan I just made. It's slightly different needle sizes, but if anything this is a little bit bigger, and I've pretty much hit the amount of rows that I did on the like yoke for that, so I'm thinking this is probably big enough to split now. Obviously gonna cast on some stitches and then just keep going on the body. I have also like basically nearly gone through a whole ball of the mohair, and then this is what the flora balls are looking like currently. So yeah, did not expect to have knit this much. Also, like, obviously the cable's getting a bit small now for the amount of stitches, so it's getting kind of bunched up, but I feel like I actually really like this colour. I was a bit concerned like when I started knitting it, like, oh, do I like this? But yeah, I think I definitely do. I think this is like the petrol colour or something, and yeah, obviously this is holding 2 strands and then one of the mohair. But yeah, she's cute, she is growing. This was meant to be like a little cast on before I got to my other WIPs, but you know, it's just become what I've been knitting on. I also took these off of the blocking mat. So these were my swatches for this, the Only #1 yarn, which is like, these are the softest things ever. I think if you're like sensitive to like natural fibers, this is for sure the way to go. Like, even I feel like for me it's like around the neck area, and these are just like so soft. But anyway, this was with the 4mm needle, and this was with the 5. I don't know how well you can kind of see. I think I'm definitely going to go for the 4. I think especially in this creamy colour, the 5 is just too like see-through. The only thing I worry about is this is like super like lightweight, but I think obviously when I get the whole garment's worth, I'm like can't really judge it off of a swatch. And then yeah, obviously this is the one that I want to embroider over, but I'm thinking I might do surface crochet instead of duplicate stitch, because I did a little swatch of the duplicate stitch and I just couldn't get it to look very nice. But I think the surface crochet will be like a cool detail. So yeah, lastly, this guy, I think I showed you yesterday. Haven't unpicked any of the stitches yet, but this is just the little top that's basically gonna go like this. I think I already said I need to make these bits bigger by like a relatively significant amount of stitches, but I think for the minute I'm just going to be knitting on the like tealy jumper, because I feel like I'm a bit of a roll with it, and I have been trying to finish the yoke so I can get to the body and the sleeves, because when you get to the biggest part of the yoke, obviously they're like your longest rows of stitches on the whole piece, and the purl rows are starting to kill me. I just want to get to like a smaller amount of stitches basically. So yeah, I think I'm gonna work on that for a bit. And then, because I think with the red cardigan that I made, when I got onto the body, that went by quite quick, and then when I got onto the sleeves I literally flew through them, because obviously it's just knitting in the round, which is way quicker. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. Please excuse my like wet hair and stuff, but I just thought I would update quickly because I've nearly actually finished the bottom on this cardigan, and I actually love this like tealy kind of colour with the colour of my top. So yeah, I'll probably wear these together when it's finished. Also, this little bobble here is because basically my long tail cast on tail was way too long, and it was annoying me because it was getting tangled up in my working yarn. This is where I'm at currently with the body. So I've already done about 10 rows of ribbing, and I think I'm gonna go longer. This angle isn't great, but because I kind of want like quite a thick like ribbed portion on the bottom, and then I'm just hoping to block this like a bit like relatively bigger so that it's a bit more oversized. Then obviously get to like the button band. But yeah, love this color now that it's knitting up. Like I think I said I was a bit like, oh, I wasn't really sure, because I think this flora color is like the petrol, and I don't know how well you can see, but it's not like a, is this gonna focus? It's not like a solid color. It's kind of like the blue with like strands of black. So I don't want to say it's like rustic necessarily, but it's definitely not just like a flat bright color. But yeah, happy with this pattern so far. I feel like with the red cardigan that I did as well, like it's hard to kind of actually visualize much until you put on the button band and stuff, because this stockinette just keeps curling. But I love these really chunky raglan increases that I did. So this is using 4 stitches and then doing the increase either side, and then I want to do like quite a big chunky folded collar on this. So yeah, obviously we'll check back in when that's done. I haven't made any progress yet on the Suniscan Mandarin Petite cotton top yet, because I've literally just been like knitting on this pretty much. I guess the only like other thing I kind of would have to update you on is I did buy myself some new needles. Let me just sort this camera out. So I use Knit Pro needles, the interchangeable ones, and so basically I got a big set of these like a year and a half ago ish for Christmas. I used like a couple of just like separate sets, but I ended up getting like a big set. So I originally had just these the metal ones. I'm not sure exactly what the name is for these, because I want to say it's the carbons, but I might be wrong because I think that they might be cubed ones. But if you go on the Knit, if you're interested, this is the Knit Pro website. They're just you can see they're like kind of the metal tips, the black middle bit. They just say like the size and then metal again on the end, and these are all connected with these interchangeable wires. They come with these little like key things that you just basically slot in, and then you can just screw the like needles on and off and swap them around. And I went for Knit Pro because they're not like super expensive, but they do have a big range, and it doesn't matter what needle set you get, because all of the wires are like, I guess, universal for all of their needles. So yeah, I normally use like metal circular interchangeables even if I'm knitting flat, but I had a couple odd sizes of like wooden needles, because some fibres I just like prefer to knit on wood. And I started knitting this, well, this is all predominantly knit on with my metal needles, because the other set only turned up today. So this is a 5.5 millimeter needle, and then I've gone down to a 4.5 for the ribbing. But I find I like the metal ones for smaller sizes, and I like with metal I feel like I can knit maybe a bit quicker because it's so slippery. But I basically found that the 5.5s were annoying me a bit in metal. I feel like they were like clanking around and yeah, anyway, so I bought this set from them, which, let me get the other ones quick. So I guess I'll show you like both of these together. So these are the denim they say like special edition ones, you can still get these, like both of these, fine. So I had got these ones at the same time I got my normal big ones. These are like tiny. So these are for small circumferences, socks, things like that. My intention was that I wanted to learn how to make socks, and I've still never knit a pair. And I think in hindsight, I would probably use magic loop or something, because these are a bit fiddly. These are a bit fiddly to work with. Sorry, someone's drilling next door. But this is how tiny these ones are. So this is how tiny these ones are in comparison to like my normal full length ones. So these ones I honestly haven't got much use out of, like I said, because I tend to use magic loop. But when I actually quite like the feel of the actual needle, and I was looking at potentially getting a set of their symphony needles, which are wooden. I didn't want to get the bamboo ones. I don't know why. I just wanted to get the wooden ones. But I found that they basically do like an equivalent set, just in like full length needles. Sorry if you can hear the drilling. It's like on and off. But yeah, they're like normal length. They're really nice. I've been knitting the ribbing using these, and I'm gonna basically try it across the rest of the project to get into like the sleeves and stuff. But I just think like these sets are just like super nice, and they both wrap up like really small. So like I took like these ones on holiday with me, not that I use them, but yeah, I just think it's really nice, and I just love that they match, and like the denim and everything. And yeah, I like Knit Pro needles. I know some people, you can have trouble with them sometimes, like coming a little bit unscrewed, but generally I found if you just tighten them up really tight, even if they do come undone, I found it's typically an issue with the wire and not with the needles. So I don't know, if you try Knit Pro and you have that problem, maybe just try it with a different cable instead of having to buy a whole new set of needles, because I think generally the actual needle screw is fine. It's just the cable screw that can be a bit funny. But yeah, love these. Still like my metals. Definitely would just use them for different fibers. Use the wooden and the metal for different things. I want to try the wooden ones with cotton, because I found that that's been a bit harsh on my hands, and I don't know, we'll just try different things. I feel like this won't look like loads of progress, but this was actually pretty time consuming. So I actually taught myself how to do tubular or Italian bind off for the 1x1 ribbing. So I've basically finished the body, as in the length. So it's got this rib section at the bottom, which I casted off using the tubular bind off method, which is like a sewn bind off. And then I've done one button band, but I basically have put this down only for like a little bit, because before I do this side, I need to figure out where my buttons are going to go, because this is going to be the whole the side with my button holes on it. So yeah, because this side's going to have the buttonholes on it, the very top buttonhole I want to be in the neck ribbing, so I can literally button it up right here. But to do that, I need to decide basically how thick I want to make the neckband, because it's got to go on after. So I already need to roughly have a gauge of like a measurement that I want to use for this, so that I can place the rest of the buttonholes down the length of the body. Yeah, I kind of hope that makes sense. Maybe this is like, I don't know, a bit of like an insight of like how to kind of plan ahead. But yeah, I guess I'll take this off quickly. But yeah, so this, like I said, I cast it off using Italian bind off. I've never done this before, so it's not like 100% perfect, but I think you can kind of see it basically just gives a really nice finish. It means it's stretchy. It means you don't get like that kind of bump edge that you'd get with like normal bind off. Normally I would just do like a normal bind off, but every design that I do and that I make for myself, I try and incorporate like a new technique or a new method. So although I'm not following patterns, I'm still like, I guess, challenging myself to like learn new things. So for this one, I think I already went over this before, but like I did a new type of neckline shaping. Like I have German short rows all the way around to the front instead of just in the back, and this was like a second go. The first method didn't really work, but I thought, do you know what, the last couple of pieces that I've done with rib, like the blue jumper, have been 2x2 rib, and this, because I've gone back to using 1x1 for this piece, I thought it's the perfect time to basically experiment with this kind of bind off. And yeah, I literally am so in love with this colour. I think I've said this like multiple times now, but this top with this cardigan, I literally can't wait to wear. And these buttons, so me and my boyfriend went to a boot fair recently, and I just picked up these buttons, and the yarn hadn't even arrived yet, but I thought like they'd be like close enough. But let me show you, these are like an insane color match. Like they're obviously a bit shiny, so I don't know how well you can see the true like color of them, but yeah, I think these are the buttons that I'm gonna use. God, they look so bright in the light. It's because the window is like there, but they're actually like really similar like shade and color to the yarn. So yeah, I'm really excited about that because they can just kind of like blend in, I guess. Sorry, that's like so hard to hold buttons and be able to show. But I was also worried that I like casted off this ribbing and then was like, is it gonna be wide enough for the buttons? But I think it actually will be okay. So yeah, need to basically figure out where to put the buttonholes on this next. But I think I might have said before, I'm not sure if it was in this video or not, from the same boot fair, I basically bought some jeans and a shirt, which is like what this pile is here. And I want to make some like big tote bag slash like project bag sort of things. So I have two pairs of like basically men's jeans. So I have this pair of like Levi's, and it's got the thing on the back. I really actually like the wash of this denim. Obviously on the back we got the pockets, we've got the little tag, pretty standard. And then this pair, which are, I don't even know how to say that, Eddie something, which are like you can kind of see the difference in colour here. These are more of like a blue, and this is more of like a, I guess like a tealy kind of blue. But again, obviously got like nice pockets on the back. This is just like a bit of thread from obviously the like original tag. It's got the really nice like kind of wash like faded seams. And then lastly, this shirt, which is definitely fake Ralph Lauren, but I want to use this as a lining fabric ideally if I don't have enough, although I'm hoping that I will, because obviously once I seam rip the sleeves and open them up, yeah, I'm hoping I'll have enough. So I kind of want to use a mix of these denims together potentially, and use like the existing pockets and stuff as details on the bags, plus like using the zippers for inside pockets. I think this Levi's one is like significantly shorter than the other one, but I want to have the bag split into like two halves, so like a divider down the middle. I have a handbag like this, and I just find it really handy because you can put like your projects in one side and then like your handbag stuff in the other side, because I think it's the most frustrating thing when like your keys get all like caught up inside your yarn and like you don't want to snag anything, etc, etc. So I think I'm gonna design like a bit of like a bag on, probably just on my iPad on Procreate, and put together like a bit of a mood board. I've been like screenshotting bags that I like from different designers. There's this account on TikTok, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I will pop it in now, is what really inspired me to do this in denim. I really love like the paneling and like the shapes of the bags that they do. So yeah, definitely going to be taking some inspiration from there. And I was just having a look through like the petite knit project bags because I feel like everyone loves them, and I was looking through them and I was just like, they're very, I don't want to say like basic designs because I feel like that has like negative connotations. That's not what I mean at all, but I just think I would like mine to be a bit more complex and a bit more functional as like a day-to-day bag, because this is essentially to take the project on the go. So I'm probably gonna put together like a little bit of like a rough mood board of like bags and like utility bags and things that I've seen, and then obviously do the design, and I'll for sure kind of keep you updated on like the process. Probably will just make it based on measurements, to be fair, just kind of flat pattern cut it, and then I'll have to seam rip all of these garments apart and basically give everything a good steam and iron. They have already obviously like been washed, but yeah, just try and see how much of like the original sort of Levi's bits that I can salvage. Like definitely want to save like this little guy and incorporate this in it somewhere so that obviously you know it's Levi's leather. But yeah, we'll see how far we get on that today, because it's like already 5 o'clock and I've just literally been knitting all day on that cardigan. So yeah, we'll obviously let you know. So I'm literally just about to go out, so please ignore the getting ready mess, but I just thought I'd quickly update. So I've done all of the neckline, casted it all off in Italian bind off, the side with the holes, and then I've started on a sleeve. So yeah, this is obviously like really kind of like cinching in, because when I block it I'm gonna like stretch this and kind of lay it all flat. So I'm hoping that the end result will be like a little bit more oversized, but I always forget how quick sleeves like knit up. Like I actually love knitting sleeves so much compared to the body, especially with like a cardigan, because it's back and forth stocking out. I hate doing like the purl side. So yeah, loving actually getting into like a small circumference, knitting around, just knitting. Really love this high neckline. I feel like on some of my other garments I struggle with getting the neckline to sit as high as I want, because the weight of the piece just like kind of pulls it down. But this one, touch wood, seems to be sitting pretty nice and pretty high up. So this is the side you can kind of see here with the buttonholes, and yeah, just hoping this gets more oversized in blocking. But from here it's literally just going to be knitting on the sleeves. I think the sleeves should knit up pretty quickly compared to the rest of it. Obviously I've got all of these ends that kind of look like a little bit ridiculous, but no, pretty happy so far. Love the colour. This is what it looks like in the back with the ribbing. I did it a bit thicker than I normally would, and do you know what, it was a faff, but I'm glad that I did. You can kind of see like this ribbing before this ribbing, because I love the look of this coming right the way over. I don't know why, I just think it looks so nice. Like when this is buttoned, like this line will continue. I guess these are like little details that I learned from like when I was like sewing garments. Obviously you want like your seams to match and stuff, but yeah, I don't know, I just love this look, which is such a little detail. But yeah, anyway, I literally like am about to run out the door. I just wanted to update quick. I've just got home from work and it's like the evening, so sorry if when I step back like the light isn't great. It's like nearly 8 o'clock now, but I casted off this cardigan last night and I'm gonna block it. Probably take like a few days to dry fully because like it's just still not warm here. Like it's been raining all week. It's like cold, like below 20 degrees for June anyway, but regardless. So this is the current fit of the cardigan. So from the back it like almost kind of looks like a bomber jacket sort of, but anyway, yeah, like I said, gonna block this, gonna try and block the sleeves. Like they are like okay length, but I think they will just naturally get a bit longer anyway. And then the main thing really, kind of see where this ribbing is tighter than like the rest of it is on a smaller needle, this kind of pulls in, so kind of hoping to stretch like this so it's more just like relaxed, it's not so like to my body. And obviously you need to put the buttons on. Sorry, this like angle is not great, but yeah. And then this will, which side's the button, hold on, this side, so like this will all button to the top, and then yeah, I'll update when this is done. Love the thick raglan increase section. Casted off everything in Italian bind off. My sleeve cuffs have never been so stretchy but also so cinched at the same time, so this is like a must now for me, I think, with 1x1 ribbing. I know it is longer, but I actually find it really satisfying, like doing the 4 different stitches like back and forth. And the only one, well, the body one was kind of long, but I didn't find that doing the Italian on the sleeves was actually that much more time consuming anyway. And I think for such a nicer finish, like it's a no-brainer. You might as well spend like an extra 10-15 minutes doing it than regret it later. But I hope to God that nothing needs changing, because I would be terrified to unpick this. But yeah, love the colour, love it so far. We'll let you know, and then we'll probably finish up the video soon, because as always I don't know what I filmed and this could be like really long. But she cute, and I literally knitted this in just over a week, like a week and a half. So last week I was off because I was between jobs, but this week I started my new job, and yeah, I feel like as soon as I get to the sleeves they're just like speed knit. Like the small circumference is just so quick. Like the yoke, like to here, it's always what takes me the longest. But yeah, casted on some stitches underarm, so hopefully these will block out to look like a little bit more seamless as well. But like honestly, not asked, because when's anyone ever going to be looking at my armpit anyway? But yeah, just generally want it a bit more bigger and oversized. So yeah. I've literally just thought, as always, I forgot to take measurements pre-blocking, which is so annoying because it's something I always forget to do, and then I'm like, okay, the next one I will for sure. No, I just literally have chucked it in the bath. It's now like soaking wet, and obviously the measurements will now be after blocking, but it's whatever. I've got the video, we'll just have to try and kind of compare from photos to see how it turns out. But yeah, so I was a bit annoyed with myself about that, to be honest. It's just like I just think it's a good thing to know, but you know, nothing can do about it now. So I also went into Hobbycraft today, and they had 9 balls of this in the clearance, and that was everything. And I think it will be enough to make some sort of sweater cardigan sized garment. This is 76% cotton, 15% yak and 9% nylon, but it's sort of like a almost like a chainer. I don't really know how well you can see. Also, sorry, like, excuse the state of my hands. Working as a seamstress, I just pin myself constantly. But yeah, no, this is like, you can, I don't know how well you can be able to actually see this. Anyway, it's super soft, it's nice colour. It's Rowan, which is, she's Spency normally, and so I'm happy to get this discounted. And then I also have got 2 new knitting books. So I got these 2. So this one is just from Hobbycraft as well. I do actually have another stitch book, which is like Japanese knitting techniques, but they're like really super like complex, specific sort of things. This is more just sort of like goes through how to do loads, like just loads of different like all over stitches, which I think will be really useful because I really want to design like a complex cable cardigan. I did want to use the grey drop Nord that I got, but I'm also potentially considering using this, although I think it would be better to use the Nord because I have more of that, and obviously the cables use more yarn. But maybe I'll do something textured with that, just not cables, like I don't know, one of these, where's it gone, like one of these sort of things, I don't know. Anyway, I probably shouldn't be showing you the whole inside of that book. And then also got the Sock Project by Summer Lee. So I actually do own 52 Weeks of Socks, but I've never knit anything from there because I have never knit socks and I don't know what I'm doing. But this is really good because I think it might say on the back actually. Maybe we'll go to the, it basically goes through, like it starts off yeah, like how to do like basic socks, and then so it's like all the types of heels, so like you know, German short row, like afterthought, like all those sorts of things. And then it goes through more specific like designs, so if you kind of work through an order, it literally starts from like the bare basics and like builds up. So I think that will be really good for me to actually start off with. You might have even seen in the background my nice little display wall. I do actually have 52 Weeks of Socks up there. Yeah, I'm trying to build like a bit of a collection of books, but anyway, these are my purchases. There are 9 of these. So I've just taken this jumper literally fresh off of the blocking mats, so I thought I'd just quickly show you how it's looking. Please ignore the mess on my drawers. But yeah, literally just taking this off, really happy with the fit. The drape is really nice. This bit has flattened out as well. I did stretch the ribbing a bit when I blocked it, so the ribbing is more defined, and the Italian cast off that I did looks super nice. Still just got to weave in the ends, but like apart from that, it's literally done. So I think maybe I'll either wear it open, or if I can do this, like maybe with the top, or top a few buttons, sort of done up. But yeah, not bad for like a week and a bit's worth of knitting. I think I might have said like I was actually off last week, so I wouldn't normally have knit this much. But I'm also really happy with this neckline. So instead of just doing the raglan straight into the body, I actually just started the body here and picked up the stitches, so the neckline comes across the front ribbing, which I feel like is more typical in store-bought knitwear, which I saw like a lot of when I was looking at like sort of inspiration photos and garments for this. So yeah, I wanted to replicate that. Yeah, I guess there's not really much more to say, to be honest. Just like an easy kind of everyday cardi. Love the colour, and this yarn like does get softer after you wash it. Like when you try on the drops Kids Don't Mohair before you sort of wash it and block it, it's maybe like a little bit itchy, but this is completely fine. Like just got a little like dress on underneath and it's not giving me any issues. The sleeves are a little bit longer, kind of like perfect length. I like when they come to like the tops of my fingers. They also kind of match my nails, which I did yesterday. I don't think I showed. So yeah, these are cute, they match this. But yeah, that this is probably where I'm gonna end the video, because I think I've probably got enough footage now. So thanks so much for watching. As always, like if you want to see more, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. You can find me on Instagram at Fashion by Beth. I'll link below. I also have a nails Instagram, which I'll link below, which is kind of just more for me to keep track of all the nails that I've done, to be honest. But hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you want to stick around and see the next one.